But then, Gerald, if Parliament feels intimidated, they have the option to impeach the president. So I don't see, unless they don't have a spine. So I don't see why not. You know, it's very simple. Our leaders do not care about the rule of law, by the way. Sheria kwao ni kama it doesn't. I don't know why they make those laws in the first place if they cannot live by them. And you see, if the president does not keep Parliament in check, then Parliament can keep president in check. But then, hapo kuna ka relationship ka weird kanaendelea, and you know, someone said, this country does not belong to one person, rightfully so. So for whatever reason Parliament will feel manipulated, then they should just take a stand. I think Senate has been trying to take a stand recently, which is very good, and Parliament should do the same. Otherwise, they should just resign. Nacha nikwambia, tuko na pia option ya kuwa recall.
But you see, there's another issue is you cannot force a certain gender on the people, because we are very democratic. This is a republic. You know, it's not like this is not a board appointment. What is the guarantee that even if we dissolve this parliament, what guarantee do we have that the next parliament will have 2/3? Because it's purely elective, you know. And the merger we can go is about women rep, which is an affirmative action in the constitution. There's no way you cannot have a man as a women rep. But the question is, even if we dissolve this parliament, what is the guarantee that the next parliament will cover the 2/3? So how many parliaments will be dissolved before we get it right? Because when you look at it, it's about the ballot, and the ballot is a secret. How do we force a certain gender on the voters?
What is the proposed formula of achieving the 2/3 gender rule? Because I'm sure there's a proposed formula. The constitution is not a prescription, I'd say, but there's a proposed formula for getting there. So if there's a proposed formula for getting there, then why hasn't that formula been followed?
Which is because
there's no
parliament is still elective.
Exactly. If there's no proposed formula of getting to that 2/3 gender rule, Gerald, why is it in the constitution and we voted for that constitution? So we are being hypocritical when we want to go back and say it's not a must, you cannot force. We were not forcing it when it was put in the constitution. We are not the first country to want an inclusion for women. I mean, the whole world is fighting for inclusivity in these spaces for women. Glass ceilings for us are real. And you know, the fact that you actually asked that question just shows what culture of patriarchy
no, it's not because I'm asking, because it's democratic. You cannot argue with that.
It
because
is democratic.
The parliament is a product of the ballot. It is a product of the ballot.
Well, it is a product of the ballot. What happens to the nominated ones?
And maybe that's what we can argue now.
Yeah, so there are loopholes there are spaces that women can be put in. And you know, if we really were serious about this whole gender thing, I think political parties should nominate women in their places where they have a stronghold. It should be that simple. Because now, unaonata, when we were being told here by Daktari yesterday, you rightfully win, alafu unanyang'anywa. And that is a man. Can you imagine the struggle that a woman will go through? And you know, this is where I say, Gerald, women need to be considered. You know, because men naturally have a head start to us every day. You wake up in the morning, you take a shower, you take your breakfast, you leave the house. I will wake up. No, I will. No, listen to my sequence of events. As a woman, especially if I am a married woman, I will wake up.
Now you're not married, so let's have an argument from the basis of not being married.
I will wake up. I will clean. I will make that breakfast.
Yeah, I'll make breakfast.
Stop lying.
You see, I like how the Gary argues at times is you have to win this argument on affirmative action and gender or whatever, because affirmative action now has moved away from gender to even groups, you know, like disadvantaged groups in terms of marginalized groups and all that. If we continue to have the conversation on the basis of gender, then we might have a misleading discourse. This is the thing, and I think this is all we need to argue it first. Me and you start the day the same way. Okay, assuming things were different on the other side. Single. Like Douglas here and you. When Douglas wakes up, you also wake up. It's not like a woman wakes up on the left hand or the right. You choose where to wake up from.
Not true.
And you all wake up from the bed. You go to shower. You all shower. But men at times they don't shower. That's not your problem. So the same time, doesn't get a woogie. I'm on the yoga jana ya leo.
I'm on the kesho ya leo.
So at the end of the day, you'll have to eat as well. I mean, where we sit right now, we have to change the discussion that we are having. Because if you look at men, right, we're talking about men who are actually more disadvantaged, even the women.
No, Gerald, let me finish.
This is why I want us to have this conversation in terms of affirmative should be bigger than gender. Because if we focus on the gender, then it becomes almost an acrimony between the two genders. Because that gender also feels aggrieved. I don't know. I don't know how you look at it.
Now,
and I like the way that Taria gives it.
In political spaces, you can stay out hadi saa 3 a.m. No one is going to ask you anything. But can you imagine me staying out until 3 a.m.? Because I'm trying to fight for my political space.
So equality is not coming over.
In fact, hata wewe mwenyewe utaniona uko like, na wewe Lucia unafanya nini hapa kwa hii masaa? Si unafaa kukua nyumbani ukilea watoto, you know. It's those little things. It is those little things. I don't think the playing field is level. I don't think it is for men and women. I'm not trying to say we are equal. I don't think men and women are equal. We were never meant to be equal. We were meant to complement each other. And that is what we need to understand even as we fight for gender equity. It's about complementing. It's not about being equal. Yeah.